Welcome to Burn the Ship Podcast. Appreciate you being here, my friend.
My pleasure.
This is the podcast where entrepreneurs get connected with professionals that can help you go all in on your business. So if you're an entrepreneur out there looking for a little bit of motivation, looking for a little bit of how to get better at business, I have someone here that's going to help us accomplish that today. I don't want to steal your thunder. Why don't you go ahead and give us your name, give us your company name, kind of tell us what you guys do.
Okay, great. My name is John Aardema, and I am the owner and business partner with my wife, Cindy Aardema, of the Gymnastics Academy of Atlanta in Kennesaw, Georgia. And we are what it sounds like. We train kids how to be gymnasts, athletes.
Well, I'm excited to have you guys here because it's a pretty unique space that you guys are in. Obviously, you've dealt with COVID in a specific way. You've been around for a long time, so you have a lot of data as far as your business goes and kind of what the trends and pull of things are. So I'm interested to learn more about that. And like I said, I appreciate you being here today. I'm Bailey Cooper. I'm your co-host, working with the MP Group as always. So I appreciate you guys listening. So why don't you tell us, I'm curious as to kind of how you guys got into this business. How does one come upon being the owner of a gymnastics gym, especially a large one like we have here with you guys? You guys have a relatively large kind of congregation as far as families, as far as kid goes. So kind of tell me a little bit about that story and how you got where you are now.
Yeah, absolutely. It's actually pretty interesting in the fact that I was in the software business. I'm actually an accountant by trade.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and it's what I did for a long time. I worked in the ERP business, and back in the early 2000s, the writing was on the wall in that business. It started to flounder a little bit, and so I knew I wanted to go and do something else. I really had that urge to have my own business, and it goes back to my family. They always owned their own businesses. We had tons of restaurants, tons of barbershops, and a million different things. Anyway, so it's kind of in my blood. That need to have my own business. Anyway, cut to the chase, we were looking at sports performance business. My child was a gymnast at GAA, and we were, one of the things, I had coached baseball for 25 years, and one of my pet peeves was parents would bring me kids that weren't athletically prepared, and
Right.
you get them for 4 hours a week, right? So you only can teach them a little bit of baseball. So I wanted to get in that sports performance business, so I went and talked to a franchise, and I was getting ready to do one in Cartersville, and I was the meet director and the booster club president at the gym at that time, and the owner at the time found out that I was looking into that business, and she came to me at that meet in February and said, "Hey, I hear you're looking for a business. I mean, these kids love you here. Why don't you think about owning the gym?" And it's kind of a cool story because my grandfather always wanted me to own my own business, and that he died that night that I was offered
Oh,
the
wow.
business. Yeah, so it was kind of him taking care of me.
Yeah, kind of your sign.
Yeah, and so moving on from there, and I was working at the time still. I had my job as and was working from home as a consultant, actually selling consulting sales in the RP business, and get a call from my boss about, I guess that was in February, so it was in May. I get a call from my boss and says, "Hey, we're shutting down the Atlanta office, so you're out of work," basically.
Right.
And I didn't have time to put the phone down, and my phone rings, or Cindy's phone rings, and it's Karen that owned the gym, and she's like, "I'm done. I can't do this anymore. It's yours." So again, it happened. It was
Wow.
meant to happen. It was two things in a row. And so we bought that existing business, which is part of it. Yes, I think something to, look at. We didn't start that from scratch, so I can't take credit for that.
Sure.
It was a good, solid business when we bought it, and our goal was to develop it and change it and to build it.
Well, trust me, you had your fair chance at ruining it.
Oh, yeah.
Anybody that acquires a business, even no matter how it's
Yeah.
successful, you had your chance to mess it up. So
Exactly. And I think a lot of people thought that's what was going to happen. We had this, being a business person, a lot of the previous employees thought we were going to make it real corporate and stuff like that. And we didn't. We just added our common sense to it. And not that it wasn't run wonderfully before that,
Right.
but we added our bit to it, and went out and hired high-level staff. That makes all the difference in the world. And one of the things I always say, and this is probably my first line of advice, is hire people to do the things that need to be done that can do it better than you do. So because I'm not a gymnastics coach.
Right.
I don't understand. I do now after all these years. I've learned. I've only coached 2 years the whole time we've been there, and that was just because we had a group that needed some care.
right.
But everybody that I have that works for me does it better than I can.
Right.
And that's key. It's
Right.
so key.
It's kind of separating the work, separating what your skills are and doing what you're good at. That we talk about it a lot in sales is high revenue creating actions. So like you want to spend your time doing the things that create you the most revenue.
Yep.
Whereas we kind of reposition that within our business, seems like you guys kind of have as well. Something that we kind of share in common is that it's all value based. So it's like, how can I kind of separate what I'm good at versus what somebody else is good at, not so we can do the most revenue generating opportunities, but so we can bring the most value to the people that are kind of within our families. So what was the growth like over, kind of, because you guys have owned it for like 18
Yeah, it's
years,
since
19 years.
2003, June of 2003.
What has the growth been like? Like what did you get with that business when you got it, and kind of how has the scale kind of been?
Yeah, I mean it's kind of been up and down because we follow a lot of different factors. There's a lot of seasonality in what we do, but I would say we probably had about 1,000 kids when we bought the business, so it was pretty solid.
Oh, wow.
And then we've taken it up as high as 1,900 kids, but our average on our peak years are 1,600 kids. Like right now, we're sitting at 1,600 kids, right where we should be in a post-Olympic year. So you have to keep in mind we have the Olympic cycle, and it's actually a true thing. We'll raise up to 1,600 kids, and then we'll go back down to 1,350-ish on the weakest Olympic year right before the Olympics, and then the Olympics come back. We do great as a country.
Wow.
We get more kids.
Wow.
It's pretty simple.
That's really, really unique, actually.
Yeah.
Well, that's pretty cool. So you guys have found this really strong cycle, and kind of what is like the environment there? You guys are doing a lot of teams. You guys are doing a lot of kind of, child to child rec, or what does that look like?
It's interesting. We have girls and boys competitive programs, and those are kind of, they're so much fun, and it's so much fun to watch those kids develop and grow, because we get them when they're young, and they'll start on team anywhere from ages 5 or 6 to 7 or 8, and then they end up hopefully graduating with us. But they don't always. The team kids will go on and do other sports, because we're building that great athlete. What I mean? If they can be with us for 3 years, they're going to go off and do something really good in another sport: pole vaulting, diving, anything, soccer, softball.
Going to be athletic.
Yeah, exactly.
They're going to be athletic.
Yeah, and then the other part of it is our recreational program, where kids come just for an hour a week. That's it. So, or 2 hours a week, and we have something in between that we created a few years ago. We call it Rec League, and right now it's just girls. We haven't done it for boys yet. But they come 4 hours a week, so they can do other sports, but they compete in-house about 5 times a year.
Sure.
And that works out great. Actually, my granddaughter just started that too, and I love that program. It's the difference between rec baseball, for example, traveling baseball.
Sure.
I mean, this is what kids can just do and not consume their entire, career or life. So,
absolutely. Well, there's a lot of things for people to do that with these days, especially kids, man. I mean, I got a 4-year-old now, and I'm telling you, it's easy for kids to just be enveloped in any type of media or anything out there. It's an incredibly healthy thing to do, and is gymnastics. I've never really thought about it before. So tell me where you guys are headed. Kind of what's the plan?
Currently, right now, we've always been just focused on gymnastics. That's another business thing that I've come up with is we're good at that. We do that well. And to add anything else to that repertoire is a challenge, and it's a point where we need to make sure we're really good at it. But one of the things that's happened here recently in the gymnastics world is the addition of training for Ninja Warrior. It's the American Ninja Warrior thing that you see on TV. There's, I guess, the 2 shows, adults and then junior, and it's become very popular. And it's a way to get kids in the gym to either they continue to do that or they become gymnasts, which is what we're looking for. We're trying to drag kids in the gym, that we want them to be healthy and physical and strong, and spend that time, that hour a week or 2 hours a week, whatever it is, just getting some exercise and doing those things. So we are adding 13,000 square feet to the building here, starting in hope to break ground in May. Right now, you can't get anything anytime fast. Where our steel is not supposed to get here till September. So we'll see how it goes. But yeah, we're adding that. So we'll have the training for that. It won't be this with all the smoke and lights and stuff like that, but it'll have all the moving parts to teach them how to be Ninja Warriors.
We better go ahead and pin down a contractor too, because I'm telling you, those guys are 6 months out too. So
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's pretty cool, man. The American Ninja Warrior stuff is cool too. And then you have those in between kids, the kids that piddle around hour or two a week for a few years. Those, they don't make it to American Ninja Warrior. They make it to like Wipeout.
Right,
You know,
exactly.
they make it to almost right before that the
Right.
same show except for the one where you get hurt a lot worse.
Yep, exactly.
Um,
Yep.
but that's pretty cool. That's pretty exciting and a new kind of spin on things there.
Mhm.
Seeing as that's kind of that first service that you've added outside
Mhm.
kind of your core value of services, what do you think has been the thing that has kind of helped you continue to maintain, your client base and that growth? What has really helped you kind of build and cement your brand where you guys are growing, adding services, like what's went well in your
Mhm.
business specifically that has allowed you guys to kind of open those doors?
Yeah, quality people. It's just that simple. We have the greatest staff. That's the biggest part of what we are. I mean, we are a people business. There's the facilities there, and and it has to be clean, it has to be beautiful, and we have to do the best we can to have quality equipment and all that stuff. But it's the people that make it go.
Sure.
We have, we're very organized in what we do. Sometimes you walk in, it looks like chaos, and parents will say that it's like it's organized chaos because there's so many. The kids are moving everywhere. You'll come in there, and there'll be 200 kids in there, and they're it's like ants, but they rotate every 15 minutes. The team kids rotate every 45 minutes, and it's very structured.
Sure.
And so they see that quality, the quality of what we do, and the training of our staff is highly trained. And once we get a family in the gym, it's they see that, and then they
Sure.
go tell their friends, because that's our marketing, is word of mouth. That's
Sure.
what makes us good at what we do, and we love getting them when they're 1 year old, 18.
Exactly. Yeah, right.
Get them young.
That's what you
and
want.
Keep them the whole time. Yeah, because we're trying to build that core strength. And
What was your mindset as you were building that team? Like what did you get when you came into the business?
Yeah. Mhm.
And where did you see those voids of like, hey, here are the people that we need that are really going to kind of take us to the next level, or at least kind of maintain and stimulate some more growth?
Right, exactly. There was, if you look at our different divisions, we knew some people we could grow into their positions, and other people we just had to go out and hire from the outside. So, like our girls team director, big deal. We had to go out and find somebody. So we found a national team coach from another country, from Guatemala, and Kobo's
wow.
been with me for the entire time, and he just does a quality job. He's very well known in Georgia and around the country too. He does a lot of camps and clinics. So anyway, cut to the chase, we had to get that team coach. And then our rec director, the person who really does everything as far as the rotations and the lesson planning, because every class has a lesson plan. We don't go without a lesson plan. Is our rec director, and then our pre-gym director. Those were existing people. And one we hired and one was existing, but she had worked there too. So we had to get that quality, and we just got lucky. They were just very good at what they do. And so those are the three core people that we had. And then we all built a boys team director, and then the other people around it, like my facility director, and then. And again, these people all do this better than I could ever dream of doing.
Right.
And then when it all came down to it, Cindy and I decided that at some point we just didn't really want to be in the gym every day. We're getting older, and turned 60 this year, so it's one of those things where we just want to go enjoy our life a little bit. So we hired the person who helped the previous owner build the business. We hired him back because he had left before that, and he's there now, and he's kind of the go-to for everything, and he's kind of me when I'm not there.
Sure.
And so that quality is always there. I know he's going to make sure that everything is going the way it is, and he's our director of people. Is what I call him. He takes care of the people.
Sure. So that main push there is maintaining that quality,
Yeah,
right? So the
doubt.
quality of the interactions, the quality of the training, the quality of the look and feel of the gym. What would you say to those entrepreneurs out there that are really looking to kind of cement their brand for the first time? What would be some steps for putting together that team and really understanding your brand if they're in the same kind of space or industry as you?
Yeah, exactly. Don't the biggest part of it, I think, is see what you need, and then don't look at it as if you're doing it, but look at it as what needs to be done.
Right.
Find out, because one of the things that I've seen in small businesses, people want to do it exactly their way all the time, and that's not always what the customer wants. You know what I mean? They need to go out and see what has to be done, how it should be done, and if it doesn't necessarily click with you, find someone who knows what they're doing.
Sure.
Because people make that mistake. It's like, it's frustrating for me. But
Sure.
anyway, that's number one, is to make sure that you're seeing what the client needs and wants, and you provide that, and find someone who can provide it if you can.
Right.
And I can't. And I'm an accountant.
Right. Yeah.
Now in our business, one of the problems that we have, and I think it's the same thing with a lot of businesses, people take on a business that they love and they want to do everything. Again, like I just mentioned, everything in that. So, for example, in the gymnastics world, in the gymnastics world, usually people who open a gym or buy a gym are coaches, right? And so they want to coach and run the business. And this is where they have troubles, and where they don't ever grow because they're too busy. They're on the floor 4-6 hours a day, and they want to run the business.
Right.
They have to do that at night or in the morning. And that's one of our big successes is this way we've been able to develop. And we've actually gone into the meet running business too. We host 5 gymnastics meets a year too, which has been a big part of it. And we hired a professional meet director, someone who can do that, and that's what she does every day. So all she does is prepare those 5 meets a year. And again, I found someone who could do that better than me. And it just goes back to that every time.
Sure. Wow. Well, that's actually honestly, that's pretty unique in itself. I would say one of the biggest issues with entrepreneurship is that the misconception of we are not exponentially stronger as we add more people. I've always kind of said that as like you yourself versus you plus a couple of people that are good teammates, you're 10 times stronger with a couple of people that you gain and retain data so much faster. You work through so many things. More sets of eyes are better than fewer sets of eyes always. So I've always kind of stood by that, is that if you wear every hat, even though it feels like you're putting more of that weight on your shoulders, that you're going to be able to handle more the right way. I mean, it's all, weight versus surface area, right?
Right.
If you spread that weight out, it's easier to carry.
Yeah.
A lot of entrepreneurs, they struggle with that early, and it really inhibits their growth. We've talked to a lot about that with people on the podcast specifically, and it kind of goes back to what we were talking about earlier, is that understand what that skill or action that you have that brings the most value to your business, company, employees, clients, customers, all of those things. So I totally see where you're coming from. It's awesome the team that you guys have built together, and that you guys have kind of understand the structure and how to wear those hats. How do we teach more business owners how to do that? Like what are the tools out there? What are some of the things that people can lean on as far as getting that information or talking to somebody about how to kind of build out their team?
Yeah, that's a good question. I read a good bit, and I think part of it is, there's a lot of successful people out there, and you can read all the books. Like there's Zach Thomas, I think, from Chick-fil-A, Leadership Farming. I love that book. He kind of runs things the way I do, and actually had a chance to meet him. But all those books you can read, you still have to decipher that, and I think people struggle deciphering all that stuff. Just the general leadership books. Read that stuff, take a look at it, and then learn from it. But you still have to do it your way, and you still have to do what fits your business. So some reading and things of that nature. But you have to look at your industry too, and you have to be very cognizant of what goes on there. We're in a very unique one.
Sure.
And then it goes back to hiring. And listening to your people, listen to what they have to say. I mean, that's the key to my success, or our success at GAA, I should say, because it's all of us.
Sure.
Is I listen to them, and I may balk a little bit at first, but it boils down to they know better than I do. They all know better than I do.
I love that you say you might balk a little bit at it at first too, because if there's anything you said that is entrepreneurial,
exactly.
If there is any resistance to a new path, is extremely entrepreneurial.
Right.
Well, tell me a couple of more things here, my friend. How do we find you? If we want to get in touch with you, we've got, octuplet daughters. We need to send all of our 8 daughters to your gym. How do we get a hold of you?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, well, you can always find me at via email, JONA@gymnasticsacademyatlanta.com. But like I always tell everybody, don't email me. Email the people that know what's going on.
Yeah.
And so you can email us. Go to our website, gymnasticsacademyatlanta.com, And there's phone numbers, there's email addresses out there. Go to the contact page and come sign up and ask questions. I mean, we can't, we know when you have, all the different families, everybody's different. We can't make everybody happy all the time. We understand that. But we're going to keep providing quality, service to the best of our ability. And so yeah, call my people. They're great.
Yeah. Well, you're lucky to have them.
Yes, absolutely. Very much.
Well, I appreciate you sharing that with me. The last thing I would ask you is I want you to go back to that moment in 2003 where you're transitioning from, accountant in this specific discipline to business owner. We're talking to a lot of people in our audience that are at work right now with their headphones in, kicking around the idea of starting their own business. What was it like for you to burn the ship, for you to go all in on your business? What was that feeling like, and what would you say to those people in our audience that are listening right now that are thinking about the same thing?
Yeah, you're going to have a great deal of fear. It's
Always.
frightening. Yeah, it's frightening
And healthy sometimes.
Yeah, it is. It is, and it keeps you sharp. But persistent. Stay after it, and taking all the data. Don't just lock yourself away and think, this is how I'm doing it this way. I know what I want. I'm doing it this way. It's good that you know what you want, but taking all the data and understand that you may have to change to this or that or whatever it is, and then stay true to the business you're in. Again, we could have panicked early on and said, well, we need 100 more kids to pay for this.
Yeah,
and gone
you could have started doing those
else.
revenue generating opportunities that decrease the actual value that your business brings.
Right.
Do something well.
Exactly. Like, for example, we don't do cheer. We're not good at it. We don't do it. But a lot of gyms will go try to bring cheer in because it brings in revenue. And then they end up getting derailed by the cheer coach or that extra, and then spending all their time on that. And then all of a sudden the gymnastics starts to fade because they're not spending time on it.
Right.
And so that's just an example, for in our industry, but it fits every industry.
Yeah, absolutely. It definitely does.
Yeah. So stay after it.
Well, it's exciting. Entrepreneurship is exciting. What you guys are building over there at GAA is exciting. I appreciate you coming on the podcast, and I'd love to have you on. Especially COVID's in a weird place right now.
Yeah,
it's something that we've noticed.
Yes,
everybody's getting sick. I don't know anybody that's getting super sick, but that's less than it seems like it was originally. But a lot of people getting sick, so maybe we'll have to have you on in a few months and see kind of how things are updating, how 2022 is playing out. But it's exciting to have you in the studio. I do absolutely appreciate you coming in the time that you've given us, and we appreciate it as well. The business owners kind of in our network are definitely going to learn something from this. So look forward to having you on. In X number of months. So expect to see John again. And then again, I thank you for your time, and I really do appreciate it. I can't wait to get this out to all the people we have listening.
No, thank you so much. Yeah.
Cool. All right, we're out. Burn the ship.